Good morning. Today we are going to learn a new topics. One is constructor. The first one is constructor. Can anyone say that? What do you mean by constructor? Hope everyone have been learned in the C++ language, in the sense workshop. So can anyone say that what do you mean by constructor?
A method which has the same name as the class name.
Okay. Constructor is nothing but it is a special method which is used to initialize your objects or to initialize your variables. And the second thing is it is going to be called, the constructor is going to be called when your object is created or when the object is initiated. Okay, constructors are nothing but it's a special method where we are going to use this constructor. Why we are going to use this? Since either we can initialize the variables or objects, or we can perform some operations. Next, the constructor is going to be called when the object is created or initiated. Okay, understood? What do you
Your
mean by?
screen is not visible.
Okay, my screen is not visible. Sorry. Visible now? The screen is visible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Constructor is nothing but it's a special method. Okay, where we are going to initialize the objects or we are going to initialize the variables or we can perform some operations. Okay, when this constructor is going to be executed in the sense when the objects are initiated, at the time the constructors are going to get executed. Okay, now syntax. How the constructor has been returned in the sense, first the access specifier and the class name. Access specifier and class name, open and close parenthesis. Here you can write it any executable statements. Any executable statements. Now I'll show one program. Okay, now what I'll do, I'll go for sample. Source. Under the source, what I'll write it new and I'll write class. My class name I'll write it constructors. I'll write it constructors, 2 S's, and I'll finish it my class. So this is how I got my constructor class. So I want to create a constructor in the sense, as I've said, it is access specifier space class name. How you have written your class name, the same way you have to specify the constructor name also. Constructors, open and close parenthesis and just open this. And here you can write any method which you required it. Any method which you required it. Okay. So first I'll write it system.out.println I am in constructor method. Okay. This is the one statement where I have written. Now I'm going to create another one method which is public void display. You can check that for constructors and your display method, we don't have a return type. For methods, normal methods, we have a return type, whereas for constructors, we don't have any return type. Just we have access specifier and class name. We have to specify the class name. Open and close. system dot out dot println. I am in display method. Close it and give a semicolon. Now I'll save this class. Now what I'll do, again I'll create another one tester class for constructors. So I'll write it tester constructors. I'll include main method. Here I'll finish it. Now, can anyone say how to create an object? Can anyone say how to create an object for constructors class? Yes, come on. Yes, can anyone say how to create a constructors class? Sorry, how to create a constructor? Sorry, object.
Class name, reference variable, new keyword, and then again class name.
Okay, what is my class name?
Constructors.
Constructors. CNA. Constructors. Reference variable is C equal to new operator constructors. And open and close parenthesis. Now, C dot, I have display method. Now, can anyone say when I execute, which method is going to display first? Sorry, what is the first statement? Constructor. Okay, what is the statement which is going to display on your console?
I am in display method.
I am a constructor, that one.
I am in constructor method or I am in display method.
Display method.
No. The constructor gets called first and then the display method.
Yes, exactly. See, when defining the constructors itself have said, when the constructor is going to be get executed in the sense, when you have written your constructor, when your constructor is initiated, at that time itself, your constructor is going to be get executed. Later, the methods which you have extracted, that methods are going to be get executed. So when I started executing this testers constructor, first the constructors are going to be get initiated and executed the constructors, and later the methods which you have written, those methods are going to be get executed. First I'll run it. Save all. Now you can check it out. I am in constructor. I'm in display method. This is your constructor. Okay, have you understood how the constructors are going to be get executed, how to define the constructors?
Yes, sir.
Okay, whether constructor should be explicitly called?
No, sir. It's called default.
It is called default. Okay, in constructors we have different types of constructors here. One is default constructor. Default constructor in the sense, see, you can check it out here. If you have not written this constructor, when you execute your code, by default it is going to be executed. In the sense, by virtually it is going to create a constructor without any executable statements in the constructor. Even though if you have not written, internally it is going to be get executed a default constructor. Default constructor contains only this. Default constructor going to have only this. That's it. This is going to get executed. Understood default constructor? Yes or no? Have you understood? Vikas Ramachandran Nair,
Yes, sir.
Rakshita,
Yes, sir.
Bhavna,
Yes, sir.
Janvi,
Yes, sir.
Precious.
Present.
Have you understood the concepts which I have explained now?
Yes, sir.
Yash Kumar, okay, fine. Now, if you want to initialize some variables in the constructor, how you have to initialize? Like example, you can check it out here. Int A and B. You have to execute this. I mean, you have to initialize the variables and you have to display the values of A and B here. Like example, I'll write it here. A is equal to plus A system dot out dot println B is equal to plus B and the semicolon. Okay, now I have to initialize the variables. How to initialize? Where to initial? Where you have to initialize it? Okay, so what you have to do for this, you have to pass a parameters for your constructor like int C, comma int D. You have to pass here. Here you can check it out. A is equal to C, B is equal to D. Okay. Now you have to come for testers class. Here you have to pass your variables like example 5 comma 7. Now when you execute this, now A is equal to will be printed 5, B is equal to 7. Can anyone say that what type of constructor it is?
Parameterized.
Parameterized constructor. It is parameterized constructor. Understood? Is it clear? Students, have you understood what you mean by a constructor? How to pass a values for your constructor method? How to initialize the variables? Okay, now I don't want this manual values. I have to take a input from the user, then I have to pass a values. Now can anyone say that how to write the code? How to write the code? So first what we have to do before passing the values to the constructor, we have to take the input. First, if you want to take the input from the user, which class we have to invoke?
Scanner class.
Scanner. So scanner S is equal to new scanner system dot in. Then you pass it. So if I want to invoke, just place a cursor here. Control Shift O, Java util scanner. So now you can check it out. Where they have written a constructor here, it is a parameterized constructor. Okay, now if I'm not passing any error values here, it is showing that it is a wrong constructor. Until you pass a parameters here, it shows in red color. Okay, now what I'll take system dot out dot print ln, enter the value 1 semicolon. Int A is equal to what is the variable or how to invoke it to take an input?
S dot next.
S dot next int and give a semicolon. Next, the same way, system dot out dot println. Enter the value 2 to semicolon. Next, int b is equal to s dot next int. That's it. Now you have to pass a values for your constructor a comma b. See, now you can check it out. Once I pass a parameters, the red line has been disabled here. So when I execute this code, first it will ask a value. Now I'll write it 300. Next I'll press enter. Next I'm going to get 400. Once I press enter, automatically it is going to invoke the constructor there and it will initialize the values for your constructor for the variables which you have written in the constructor method, and then it will come back to the main method and then it will invoke a display method. See, A is equal to 30, B is equal to 400. Understood everyone? Yes or no? Kartikeya?
Understood, sir.
Manjushri?
Yes, sir.
Chandramouli?
Understood, sir.
Prakruti?
Understood, sir.
Lakan?
Understood, sir.
Trupti?
Understood, sir.
Nimala Girish?
Understood, sir.
Okay. Can anyone say that what are the different types of constructors we have learned now?
Default and parameter.
Default constructor and parameterized constructor we have learned. Okay. This is about your constructors. Next, there are some keywords. For that, those keywords should not be assigned for your constructors. What are those keywords in the sense? Abstract, final, static, and synchronized. These are the values, keywords which you should not specify for your constructor. The next, constructor do not have any return types. Okay. Yes. Next one is, another one is looping. See, I'm not going to explain completely the looping system once and conditional statements one. Wherever it is required, which iterations or conditions, I'll be explaining and just I'll be moving. Okay. Next, loop, for loop. When you're going to use a for loop, when you're going to use a for loop, yes,
To execute a block of statements many times.
many times. Rather than saying that, when we know how many number of times to execute the statements, then we are going for your loop. Okay, like example, if you want to execute 10 times, then we will know the termination condition is 10. At 10, after looping for 10 times, then you have to come out of the loop. Then we are going to use your for loop. Understood? When we know that number of times we have to execute the statements, then we are using the for loop. First, syntax. For keyword, initialization, termination condition, either increment or decrement. like initialization, if you want to start from I is equal to 0, or if you want to start from 10, then it will be in decrement, and here if you starts with 0, it will be in a increment. That's it. If you starts from 0, it will be increment. If you starts from a greater number like 10, 20, like any this, you are going to have a decrement, or it can be having a increment. It depends upon the how you have written a code. Then you have executable statements. You're going to have a executable statements. Now, like in this code, I have to print 1 to 10. So what I'll do, I'll specify int I is equal to 0 or 1. I want to print the numbers 1 to 10. So I have started I is equal to 1. For I is equal to 1, what is the termination condition? I less than 9 or I less than equal to 10.
Less than equal to 10.
Why less than equal to 10? Why can't less than 9? Understood my question? First you understand my question. I want to print numbers from 1 to 10. 1 to 10. Okay, if I write I less than 9, till what number it is going to print?
8.
8. If I write I less than 9, to what extent, sorry, I less than 10, to what extent the number is going to print?
9.
So what is your termination condition then?
Less than equal to 10.
I less than equal to 10. Correct, don't be in Dynamo. I plus plus, it is going to be get incremented. Now system dot out dot println, or directly you can write it I. That's it, it's enough. Now you save it. Now at the first time I is equal to 1. 1 is less than or equal to 10. True or false? 1 is less than equal to 10 or no? I'm asking for you people, 1 is less than 10 or not? One is less than 10, so it is true. It will enter into the looping system. 1 will be printed. Next, it will go back to the looping. Now I will be incremented. So now it is 2. 2 is less than 10. Yes, it is true. It will enter into the looping. It will print the I value, and then it is going back to the looping part. So now I'll run the code. It is going to be get printed 1 to 10. You can check it out. 1 to 10 numbers are printed. This is how your for loop works. Next, array. Can anyone say that what do you mean by an array? What do you mean by an array? Janvi, what do you mean by an array?
So collect order data items.
Okay. Srinivas Pavan, what do you mean by an array?
Collection of data.
Collection of data. What type of data? Whether it will be in mixed data like int, float, character. Chandramouli, what do you mean by an array?
Collection of similar data, sir.
Yes. It is a similar collection of data types. Next, array which stores the fixed size sequential collection of the same type. Like example, if you specify the array size is 10, it is going to store only the 10 values, and the sequential it is going to store, and it is going to be stored it in the sequentially. Sequentially in the sense, like example, internally, if you declare an array here, it is going to be like this. It will be in the boxes. Once if you enter one value, directly it will comes and enter into this particular location. 2, 3, whenever you enter the numbers, it is going to store sequentially. It is going to store sequentially. For that, we are going to call it as a sequential collection of elements. Now, declaration of an array. The first, this is data type, open and close square parenthesis, and array reference variable, where here array is an object, where we can declare here array is an object. Okay, so here we can say that data type, open and close square parenthesis, array reference variable. Here we can, otherwise the second way is the square parenthesis can be moved to your at the end of your array reference variable. We can declare in the two types. One is data type, open and close parenthesis, array reference variable, or data type space array reference variable, open and close square parenthesis. Example, if I want to store only integer values, so I'm going to use your int data type AR. This is your array reference variable. Or the second way here I have declared int data type int array reference variable is my AR, and the square parentheses are at end. Have you understood how to declare a variables? Sorry, how to declare an array?
Yes, sir.
Yes or no? Have you understood? Next, how to create an array with new operator. There are different ways of declaration. One is the normal, which I have showed in the previous slide. This, and the second one here, we are going to have a look at how to declare an array with a new operator. The same way, data type array reference variable, where array reference variable is equal to new data type array size. Must and should you have to specify the array size when you are going to use for your new operator. Or we can declare in a single line. Data type array reference variable is equal to new data type and array size. This is a one way. Now I'm going to show an example for you. One is int AR. This is here. Int AR semicolon. Now what I have taken, this reference variable I have taken is equal to new int, open and close parenthesis. Here I have specified the array size. Whenever you are going to make use of your array new operator, must and should we have to specify the array size. Array size we have to specify. Or the second thing is we can declare with a single line everything. Yes, understood for everyone? Is it clear for everyone? Say yes or no. At least you post a message
Yes,
when
sir.
you're not able to speak. It's very. This is a another way of declaring of your an array with the new operator. The second thing is we can work with the values. Directly we can invoke or we can initialize the values to your array. Data type reference variable is equal to value 1 by L2 with that should be enclosed with your flower parenthesis. Like example, int AR is equal to 10, 20, 30 and close your values. That's it. Example, the same way here. We can work with this. Int AR is equal to 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. Like this. If you want to access any element in your array, you have to access only with your index. Like example, when you create your array, it internally the structure will be like this. Okay, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. These are the indexes where I have stored 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 and 80 are the values which I've stored inside the box. When I want to access the 50, I want to access only through your index value. The array name for here is I have written AR. So if I want to access 50 value, how should I access in the sense AR open and square parenthesis. In that square parenthesis, I have to specify my index value. Then it is going to pick and it is going to store it into, you can print it or you can store it into your one variable. So at that time it will go for this location. It searches, okay, AR, this is my array. Now it will check 0, it is not matching. 1, it is not matching. 2, 3, it is not matching. 4, 4, it is matching. It will enter into this block. It will extract the value of 50 and it will be printing or it is going to store it in any variable. Next, has everyone know that array index starts from 0 to whatever the size you're going to give, but at the last is reference variable dot length -1. Next, 1 second. You can check it out here where my list is your reference variable of your array reference variable. That in that we have stored these values where you can check it out 0, 1, 2, 3 or till 9 are your indexes. If I want to extract element, how should I extract in the sense my list open of parenthesis 5 and then you can extract 34.33 the values which are present in the box. Then outside the box which you have specified, those are your indexes. Hope everyone have understood how to declare an array. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Why the voice is very low? Understood everyone?
Yes, sir.
US in 27?
Yes, sir.
Sneha, have you understood?
Yes, sir.
Nidishwar?
Yes, sir.
Tejas?
Yes, sir.
Have you understood the concept which I have explained now?
Yes, sir.
Now we will see one code which is of programmatical. Now most of the times I'm going to create an array with your new operator. With the new operator, I'm going to extract the, sorry, I'm going to declare an array. So now int AR is equal to NIF int of 10 and declare your this. We have to declare the square parenthesis at the both sides. Then this is your declaration of your array. Declaration of array. Now what I have to do, I want to store the values within the array. So what should I do? How I'm going to store the values? I can manually store, like a of 0 is equal to 1, a of 1 is equal to 2, a of 3 is equal to 3. I can declare like this. I can declare like this. The another way is using a for loop. I can declare it. Like example, int I is equal to 0, I less than 10. See, when we know the 10, I can directly invoke the termination condition at I less than 10. Okay, I plus plus. Open the parenthesis, you can declare here. So a of I is equal to, I can declare I plus plus. That's it. This is how you can declare it, AR. This is how I'm going to store the values. Once I have stored the values, now I'm going to display the values. The same thing I'm going to declare int j is equal to 0, j less than 10, j plus plus. System dot out dot print AR of I plus equal to /t. Oh, I have saved. Okay, here I'm going to insert the values. Here I'm going to display the values. Space. Sorry, AR of j it is. Now I'll declare and I'll run it. See here, you can check it out, 002040. Why? Can anyone say that why we have got 0020406080? Can anyone say that why we have got these values? Yes, I need an answer. When I used AR of I got it 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. But when I increment it, I got the values like this. Can anyone say why I am getting 0020406080? Yes?
Sir, I is incremented 2 times. Sir.
Yes, I is incrementing 2 times. So here. So what should I do? Either I have to declare int a is equal to 1. So I have to declare a here. Next a semicolon. Later I have to increment my a value. Now you can check it out. What is the values you are going to store? See 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 till 10 the values are stored. Have you understood? Is it clear for everyone? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Students, if you're not opening your mouth, I can't explain the topics much clear. Just I have to use only one way. So kindly I request, I need your cooperation. Like you need to pose your questions or you need to say at least whether you have understood or not. Okay, this is a one way. Like example, manually I have taken 10 here. Sometimes it need to be taken a user input. At that time, what should I use? If I want to take a user input here,
Assign another variable as int and then add the int.
you have to make use of scanner s is equal to new scanner system dot in and system dot out dot println, enter the value of, enter the size of an array. Size of an array. You can enter it. So I'll declare int size is equal to s dot next int. I'll give semicolon. Now you have to take this size and you have to specify here. You have to specify in the parenthesis. Then you are not going to get an array. So then you're not going to get any error. Now the size is declared. How to store the values? We don't know what number the user going to give. How should I get to know? See, earlier I understood, okay, the array size is 10. Fine, so my termination condition I have given here 10. But when the size I am not knowing what the user is going to give, what the termination condition I should give? Yes. What is the termination condition I have to give?
Sizes.
Okay, I'll specify size. But when I give a size, it will take 10. Okay, it is going to specify 10. Okay, here it is. Check it out. You are going to have size. We can specify that. Okay, next. Here also I have to specify size. Save it and enter your values here. My array size is 15. I'll give you. Once I start storing, you can check it out. 1 to 15, the values are stored and it is printed. Understood? Clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. This is all about your arrays. In next class, we are going to discuss a new topic. Okay, today we'll wind up here and we'll continue in the next class.